potential opportunity of working with a corporate, prospective corporate partner.
Virginia, do you want to comment? I'm sure you're thrilled that I put you on the spot like this. So
thanks.
You'll thank me for this later, I'm sure.
Dan has a habit of doing this to me. I just want to mention that. This is not the first time. I'm Virginia Brown. I'm the head of the Office of Trade and Regulatory Reform at AID, and I actually just came along to accompany Lit, but also it's interesting. We were talking on the way over about the trade policy issues, as well as just the constraints that we have in terms of making sure that our projects do not result in U.S. jobs moving abroad. So we do have a lot of legal constraints, as well as just issues to think through when we're developing projects. But I think the takeaway for me from here is where we can, at least my shop can really help, is the enabling environment. We are the regulatory reform people. We are the folks dealing in the policy environment with governments. We have a grant with the IFC. We partner with them quite a bit on these things. So in listening, I think where we need to have more of a discussion is sort of looking at where our goals intersect. Someone mentioned that. I think that's very important. In many cases, I think the goals are very similar, and we need to look, especially in our work in the enabling environment, how we can make those goals intersect better. I also like the idea that someone threw out about more targeted interventions. I think most of you who've been listening to our administrator talk know that we are looking at focusing our work in smaller number of areas, but hopefully to have more impact. And I think that gets into this discussion directly with how we can partner with companies to have that impact and have our projects be more targeted. Thanks.
Michael, I'm going to bring in Paul and Robert in a little bit, but let me just first, Michael, let me give you a chance to just talk about this issue of the capacity building that AID has possibly done, but could you also talk about this quantifying of benefits and the administrative burden that Deirdre brought up? Because I think we shouldn't, be Pollyannish about why this is hard to do. There's a reason this is hard to do, and why people aren't just saying, oh, let's just snap our fingers and let's just do this. And some of this, I think, is some of these barriers that have come up.
Well, I think we've had experience with USAID, which I think is probably, I don't know if it's typical with other donors, but our first big project many years ago, it wasn't so big project on local content, was in the Russian Far East. We were operating under